About what we have today. Today, our guest is Trisha Zook. She is one of our fastest growers right now. She's up in Canada in Edmonton, and her team has been doing extremely well this past year. She has seen the vision from the very beginning since she's come in about how this is an everyday food, the health aspects and the aspects of being able to be a convenient, easy meal, and she's run with it and been able to build a team that has the same types of work ethic and the same types of vision that she has, and it's so fun to see. And so we wanted to bring her on today and interview her and let you guys get to know Trisha a little bit better and see what she's doing. So without any further ado, one of our superstars, Trisha Zook. Trisha, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for that intro.
Yes, thanks for being with us today. I know you're a very busy person, and thanks for taking this time. So Trisha, tell everybody what you were doing before you got involved with Thrive. And actually, you're still doing. I know that.
Well, actually, so I worked for the Mack truck and Volvo truck organization, so big, heavy-duty trucks. For 10 years prior to Thrive Life. And what I did there is I was corporate director of quality. So I oversaw operations in 5 different cities across Alberta. So I just made sure that we were always improving. Customer satisfaction was high. I would just analyze data and make sure that we are just being efficient, creating efficiencies, procedures, policies, writing those, auditing everyone. It was very fun and very glamorous. And as you can tell. But in addition to that, I was actually on maternity leave from that position when I found Thrive Life. And so in Canada, we actually get 1 year paid maternity leave. So that's where I was at. So I just had my first child. And addition to that, though, I also ran my own professional makeup artistry business, is what you're referring to. Is I still do that. And I also taught fitness classes. So I was a fitness instructor as well. So as you can tell, I was not interested in another job at that point.
Yeah, and I remember meeting you up in Alberta. I think it was Calgary, and just being very impressed. But what was it? You were so busy. How did you come in contact with it, and why did you join Thrive?
It's kind of a long story. So quickly, I came in contact with it at a trade show, it was a Christmas show, Edmonton Christmas show. I wouldn't have gone to a home party. It just wasn't my thing, kind of like Sherry Brower always says, like, oh, shoot me now, right? So wouldn't have found it that way. Found it at a Christmas show. Long story short, they gave me one taste of those, the corn and the yogurt and the veggies and fruit. And I was sold, like immediately sold. I wanted to order it. I'm placing my order right now. Just tell me what I can get. So I just wanted it. But at the same time, because it was at the show, I had no idea you could cook with it. I had no idea, like, there was meat and all this kind of stuff. I was just interested in the snacks for my baby. Like, oh, I could just put this in my diaper bag. It's really lightweight and easy. It's not going to go bad. Great. This is like an awesome thing. Long story short, I came home with my catalog. I was all excited. I'd already placed like a large order just because I wanted so much of it. And I just started telling my husband, like, I found this food. It's amazing. It's so good. And I just started sharing this catalog with him. And he kind of looked at me and said, if this food is as good as you say it is, you ought to just be a consultant. Because he's kind of like outdoorsman, so he hunts and camps. And he just wanted to, like, his friends buy from like the camping store, this type of food anyway. And he's like, if this is so good, they can just buy from you instead of buying from the camping store. And I was kind of like mad at him. And I was like, how dare you say that I should take on another job as I have 4 jobs? I don't know what you expect. So I kind of like probably bounced on him and said, like, I don't know what you're thinking, like, you're nuts. And so, but he planted that seed. And long story short, I ended up kidnapping. So I was a kidnapper. So I wasn't going to pursue this business. I was just going to tell my friends about it. I was already texting them and being like, I have the coolest food ever. It's coming to my house. When it comes in, just come try some. It's so awesome. And so I was only going to share it with like the immediate circle and not go further than that. I hated parties, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I got into it. And as we know, it just kind of sucks you in and it goes from there sometimes. And it's such a great product. It's so interesting. It's such a need for everyone that interest was there. And it was like, hey, could you come to my house and do a party? And I'm like, Yeah, okay. And so
Wow.
then it just kind of grew from there.
So the customers kind of created the demand for you.
They did, yeah.
So, how's it been for you then? So you haven't been doing this too long. You're still, on the newer end of things, and you've obviously been able to see some great things with your team. But how's it affected you and Jeremy and your family?
Personally, it's great. To be honest, I never intended to go back to that full-time job after maternity leave because I would have to have a nanny and go that route. And it was just, me personally, it was important to be with my children and to just have as much time with them as I could while they're little. And so having another job that I could just make my own hours and my own schedule, just as well as fitness and makeup, it just kind of all worked so perfectly to be able to stay home and do this on your own terms. Everyone says it, but it's so true. The biggest thing is personal growth with this company. So as you know, I never intended to be in sales. I never intended to sell anything to anyone. It's just not what I wanted to do, particularly direct sales. I didn't think I'd ever be in that. But I've grown so much as I'm in this business, and my perception of things has changed, and just made so many friendships that I would have never had it not been for Thrive. 95% of the people on my team, I probably would have never met in my life if not for Thrive. So I'm just very grateful for that.
Yeah, that surprises me because you guys seem just like a big family, a big bunch of sister friends. And
It's
sisters and
true.
friends.
It's
So
true.
yeah, you guys are way tight. It's so cool to see. So you kind of started, you called it a kidnapper, or sometimes we say, social seller that just is going to maybe share it with a friend or family here. And then you've developed into one of our best leaders. And you've also helped other people develop from, starting with social sellers to become really leaders and team leaders. This last trip in Aruba, you had a huge group there of people that won the trip, and a lot of people hitting rank. So today, the question I really wanted to ask you is, how are you doing that? How are you helping people go from social sellers to all of a sudden building a team?
Okay.
Any tips out there?
Okay, I've got a lot to say. We're going to try to make it short. But one thing was, as I was preparing to share some thoughts on this very topic, I kind of put it out there to the leaders themselves and said, what did I do, or what do I do to encourage you? Just to see what they would say. And I actually got a funny response back, and it's something that I probably wouldn't have thought of myself, or I probably wouldn't have shared. But thinking about it, and I know she was joking, but it's true. It's true. So I'm gonna share this, what she said. She wrote, "You just befriend your kidnappers, and even those that didn't want anything to do with you." So the fun fact here is that probably one of the most recognizable consultants that I have on my first level, Bella, with her beautiful eyes and her German accent. In fact, she didn't want anything to do with me as an upline as she joined Thrive Life. I was the only consultant she knew. In fact, she went as far as to go onto the corporate site and try to search up other consultants. So if they had a list of consultants with their picture, that's kind of what she was looking for. And she wanted to choose somebody who she just thought looked nicer than me, or that she thought had a better face. Like, oh, I like her face. So that's a true story. And so she wanted nothing to do with me. She gave me the cold shoulder. She eventually ended up ultimately enrolling under me. She kind of was forced to, and she didn't have a choice. And so she gave me the cold shoulder. But I pushed forward, and we created that relationship, even though she wasn't necessarily thrilled to be on my team initially. And now, if you fast forward a couple years, Bella and I are the closest of friends. I hosted her baby shower at my house. And I guess the moral of the story I just want to kind of share with people is, don't be offended. It's not personal. Don't give up when somebody is trying to brush you off. Just keep going and keep being there and being present for them and caring about their success, even if they don't necessarily love you. So that's kind of the one point I want to say. And then another big one, Bart, if you're there, if you want to put a disclaimer across the screen, maybe like, the views expressed are those of the individual consultant and not necessarily Thrive Life. I don't know if you want to.
Not our words. There we go.
So this is just me. I was kind of surprised when Norton asked me to do a live video, like uncensored live video, but so not our words.
High risk, but we trust you.
It's risk, yeah.
Let's go with it.
Okay, so I want to speak to you guys that are watching this or that will be watching this. You've heard from so many successful consultants on these live videos. You've heard, I think all of them say, this is a business. You treat it as a business, and that is absolutely true. That is true. This is a great business. The potential is out there, and you can absolutely achieve it. I mean, if you want to just dabble in it, or if you want to go at it hard, great. So everyone said, like, this is a business, this is a business. So that might be scary to some of you who, I want to speak to you guys who don't necessarily want to do this full time. And maybe you love your job. Maybe you're so passionate about what you do right now that you don't want to give that up. And that is awesome. That is great that you found that. And Thrive will fit in with that too. But I want to just say one thing is that you, as a social seller or as a hobbyist, you can be successful with Thrive Life. You can still do this. You don't need to do this full time in order to be successful with Thrive Life. My three main leaders who are on the business advisory board, they all would consider themselves hobbyists. They all came in as kidnappers. They would consider themselves hobbyists. They have other careers that they do and love, but Thrive fits into any lifestyle. And so I just want to speak to you. You don't need to do it full time to be successful. So social seller or hobbyist and leader can actually be one of the same. And I just kind of wanted to, those are Trisha's words. I just wanted to put that out there. So with that philosophy in mind, just keep that in mind as I go over like a few points. So I do have a few points I want to share, like concrete points that you can take and help your team develop. And so the very first one.
Trish, I got to say one thing. That's our view too. It's not yours. So yeah, I think that's a really important point, is actually most people that come into this business are just like what you said, just maybe share it here or there. To be a leader doesn't necessarily mean 40 plus hours a week. Absolutely. It just means that you're sharing and you're developing your team with the time you have, right?
Yes.
You guys have been amazing at that, your team. A lot of busy, successful people.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I love that. So the number one thing is include. You want to include your social sellers, your kidnappers, whatever you want to call them, in everything. So you want to invite them to your team meetings. You want to invite them to the corporate events. You want to have them in your Facebook group for your team. You want to send them your team emails. You want to do all those things. Regardless of what they're looking for in this business, you want to include them, and you're still going to train them. So that was my first point. My second point is educate or empower, and it kind of goes hand in hand. Make sure they know the basics of being a Thrive Life consultant, okay? So they would need to know how to set up a new customer. They would need to know just the very basic things that they can do when somebody shows interest, okay? So make sure that they know where to find the information. You're not doing anyone any favors if you always just provide them with an answer. When is the Black Friday sale going to start? How do I do this? What's the policy on this? Why don't we, instead of just telling them the answer, why don't we tell them where to find the information? So as long as we educate them on where to go to get that, that's empowering them. That's giving them confidence. So even as a social seller who isn't out there sharing too much, now, if somebody comes to them asking about Thrive, they now feel confident to answer those questions, or they now feel confident to handle that customer. So you want to empower them with education, and don't overwhelm them with information, just the basic things. And the way that we normally do that is getting started. Those are the basic things to get started as a consultant. Now, I know it's under construction right now. It's getting a little bit of a facelift, but you can still take it. There's a page out there with the basics on it, and you can still take it and just quickly go through that with them. So the other thing when it comes to educating is fast track. Make sure they're aware of fast track. They don't need to want to do fast track. They may not be interested in fast track, but it's your duty as an upline to make sure that they know there's a fast track and how it works. Because once they see, like, wait a minute, you're telling me I only need like basically 3 preferred customers and I've already hit the first 30 days of fast track and I get this, that's pretty cool. I don't think fast track is too much to handle. I think it's really easy, especially if you're setting up deliveries, which is what we do. I mean, that's what we're training our teams to do anyway. It's very easy to hit those targets. So make sure they're aware of that. So my number 3 point is believe. Believe in the opportunity yourself. So be passionate about this opportunity. If you're not excited, it's hard for your team to be excited. If you're complaining, it's hard for your team to get on board with this opportunity. So be excited and share that excitement. And then the very last thing I want to say, which is point 4, and it's kind of like a long one. So if you take nothing away from anything that I've said this entire time, I want you to take this away. So this is the one thing, if I just remember one thing, it's this. Number 4, make it about them, okay? So again, keep in mind, I feel as though, and the company now feels as though you can do this as a hobbyist to however many hours you want to put in, and you can still be successful, and you can still be a leader. But so with that said, support your downline in their goals. Okay, so don't impose goals upon them, but rather just support what they would like to do. So as I mentioned, fast track. Okay, I'm telling them, I'm educating them about fast track, but I'm not saying you have to go do fast track. I'm not saying, oh, you got to do this, in this time frame, and this, and you're going to get this. Whoa, you've now scared me so much as a social seller that I pretty much am just going to draw back and not pay attention to you anymore. So you support them in their very goals, whether that's, I just want to cover the cost of my delivery every month. Whether that's I want to hit a certain rank in this company, or I want to retire, or I want to build a team. Whatever it is, that's cool. That's their goal, and you're going to do whatever you can to help them reach that, but you're not going to impose your own goals, what you want for your team, onto them. I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, keep going. This is good.
Social sellers are important. They are just as important, and make them feel important as well. So I want to use a quick example. As we were leading up to this last trip to Aruba, just a couple of my team, we went to the gym together. We just had to go work out. And so I think at that point, 3 of us who were there had earned Aruba already. One was still trying to earn Aruba, so she hadn't quite made it. And then the other one that was there wanted nothing to do with Aruba. And so that's fine. And so we're chatting, and as we're brainstorming together on what this consultant could do, to earn Aruba. Like, we were like trying to help her and give her ideas and all this sort of thing. And the one consultant of mine who doesn't care about Aruba, she just piped in and said, you know, I'm a terrible downline. I couldn't care less about these trips. And her saying that hurt, because I want her to know, and I told her right then, you're not a terrible downline at all. If you don't care about these trips, you don't care about these trips. It's not important to you. It's not important to you. I don't care. I mean, I would love to have you there, join us, but if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. And I just want everyone to know that regardless of your goals or where you're at and what you're trying to achieve, you're no less important on the team to anyone, and it just should be that way. And so I just wanted to share that. Another one, just actually last night. So one of my first levels posted on Facebook last night, just to the world, what are the things that she loves about Thrive? What does she love about this business? And I just took a short little snippet from what she posted last night, and I want to share her quote. And it said, to be able to work this at your own pace without the pressure. How important is it that we let our team work at their own pace and we don't impose anything on them or pressure them? And this was actually written by somebody who's frequently in my top 10 on my entire team for sales. So my top 10 consultants, it's important for her to feel she can work at her own pace. And so that's just something to think about. And then I want to reach out to those of you who are frustrated. A lot of you have come to me, have chatted with you, and you're frustrated because you really want a team, you want an active team, and you just can't seem to get anyone on your team to just do this as a business and work. And I just want to share this with you quickly. Keep in mind, kidnapper right now is not kidnapper forever. Okay, not necessarily. And I'll share another quick story real quick. Lori, who's another recognizable consultant on my team, we were friends prior to Thrive Life, so we've been friends for quite a long time, very close. As many others, when we join this business, our friends and family are uninterested in Thrive. That's pretty common, right? So as with Lori, the exact same thing. She was not interested in Thrive. Lori actually purchased a consultant starter kit with the sole purpose, the only reason she did it, was to help me earn a cruise that year. And she ate the kit, she ate all the food, she handed me all the marketing materials, go, here you go. And that was it. She was not interested in using Thrive in her life, aside from that one kit that she bought just to do me a favor, essentially. And that's okay. Like, Lori's a full-time senior accountant and she's got a lot going on, and that's fine, and we're great friends. But fast forward 18 months of me being into this business, and out of the blue, Lori told me, I'm going to pursue this as a business. I'm going to do this with you. What? So now Lori is one that sits on the board. She's earned 2 all-expense-paid trips for herself. She's a wonderful leader. And but what was the key element there? Time. It's not going to happen all overnight. You're not going to just come into this business all the time and see like massive success. I mean, it happens, but sometimes it takes time for friends and family to come around, and some may not, and that's fine. We can only do what we can do. Just be patient. Just be patient with wanting your team to work and get going. It can be frustrating, but just give it time and people may come around. And so I just want to close with a couple thoughts. I think when you truly care about your team, you truly care about them, and not just because of ultimately where it'll lead you or where it's going to get you. I think when you care about them personally, like I guess it was quoted, like, I befriend my kidnappers, they feel that. They can feel that, and that makes a huge difference. Have you ever worked for a company where you felt like you were just a number? They didn't even care about you? You can feel that. Does that help with your production? Does that help with your morale? Everything, you feel that. If you work for a company that has a family feel, you feel that. So this is your family. This is your team. You can do whatever you want with it. Give it a family feel. Don't just have them feel like they're just a number to you. Anyways, so when you put others first, the rest will just come. And that's sort of my philosophy.
Wow, that is great stuff. I could keep listening to this over and over. A little echo. Well, one thing that I just thought as you were saying is, just like customers, sometimes customers just to buy need 6 or 7 contacts. I mean, you're giving people a lot of just treating them the same and loving them, and sometimes it takes time, but the constant just treating them like family, like you do, and friends, and then sometimes they just need time and figure it out on their own. I love that. And the other thing you said that I really liked, I liked it all, but another thing that really stuck out was, don't push, but just inspire and motivate, just have them just be, you do such a great job of just getting people believing and inspiring them, and then they come instead of pushing them. I really like that. And I've seen all of that. I mean, you're living that for sure. But, well, Trisha, thank you so much. Last thing, so it feels like you're just getting started. Is that how you feel? What do you see with this going forward?
I feel like the company is getting started.
Yeah.
I truly believe that everyone who enrolls now has a massive advantage to when some of us older people enrolled and the company was not in the same spot. So, I mean, the IT wasn't as good, the website wasn't as good, the ordering wasn't as good. I mean, now in the training, I mean, as you come in, you're set up for success. And I really feel like companies just starting. We're just starting. I mean, yeah, in Canada, we're just starting up here too.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Oh, so excited to be here. So excited that you and your team are with us. Looking forward to an amazing future. But thanks for taking the time. I know a lot of people are going to already have loved this, and there's going to be thousands watching this that are going to be really grateful for you putting your time into this. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again. This Wednesday, I'm going to do something a little different. It's Ask the President. Just questions you guys have for me about anything with the business, anything about me to help understand and help you. Any questions you might have. Looking forward to answering those Wednesdays, same time at 11, and we'll just keep doing these. We're having a great time. Thanks again, Trisha, and looking forward to seeing you guys next time. We'll see you.